If you ever have to remove the computer for the airbag system, that takes a little bit of your time and energy. In this video I'll show you what plastic trim items you need to shove around here at the center console that you need to get out of the way to get to the SRS, the supplemental restraint system, or the airbag system's control unit or computer. So, but in the technical literature it's called SRS control unit. It lives underneath the radio here in the center console, and I've removed this big box there. This is how it looks closed and this is how it looks opened, so that's out of the way. Just this simply. We'll start with this location here, and you're looking at it. Two yellow connectors run into it, and it lives in this metal housing here. You need to remove that bolt there that you're looking at, and that other bolt there that you're also looking at. And sorry about the light conditions here, but this is some enclosed space. So, and need to obviously disconnect or unplug the connectors. I have the old unit here on top of the dashboard here. This is what you're plugging into, and of course it lives in that metal housing but that has 4 bolts, so I just took the 4 bolts out, and this is what's inside the housing. It's a printed circuit board, $455 for the new part, and you can see some capacitors and this and that on it. So if any of this microelectronics is fried, you're gonna have to replace the SRS control unit. Reason for this being fried is, for example, you didn't follow the service manual's explicit instructions that say whenever you're working on any of the airbags, front, passenger, whatever, side airbag in the seat, side curtain airbags, you disconnect anything under the seat, especially the airbag stuff, or the seatbelt tensioner on the seatbelt's lower reel behind the seat. You're gonna have to disconnect the battery at the front, the negative terminal, and wait 3 minutes for the capacitive charges to dissipate before you disconnect anything in the system anywhere that relates to airbags. So if you don't do that, this is easy to overload. There are no circuit breakers on it, there is no replaceable fuse on it, and none of this stuff runs on 12 volts. Even though your battery is 12 and a half, whatever nominal whenever it's being charged. So that's a $455 learning lesson that the previous guy fried for me here. I just replace it. So the control unit lives here, and 2 bolts are at the front. Disconnect the wiring harness from it, and 2 more bolts live on the side. I'm going to show you. It's going to be a little reach and a little bit shaky. So let me just get the light with the camera. So down here more plastic is removed. Here is this plastic piece that just came out from the side here, and the bolt you need to remove lives behind this cable that you're looking at. Alright, you can barely see a corner of it. It's really difficult to film it because I would need one more hand to move that wire out of the way. But it lives down there, and need to remove this small piece of plastic that covers that part. Need to remove that piece that's on the floor. That's very easy because these just pop in place and come out of place. Just no tools. Just need to make sure that it's lined up on the inside when you put it together. Sorry about the light. Like I said, it's difficult to film it with just 2 hands and the camera. So this is how this piece is coming together there. I'm trying to line it up there with that little foam there. Now it's on the foam, it's evenly seated. So that's a heating duct for the floor. Let me just get rid of this head flashlight. So what else is in the way here? Here is this ashtray thing, and I want to show you on this one how easily everything clips together and pops together. So here are some of these tabs on alignment tabs on these things that hook together or engage together. Here is this ashtray. You can see these plastic spring pins on it. And this will just pop in place. I'll try to do it with just one hand and put this ashtray back into this. It's just going to be pressed in place. Now I can't do it with one hand, but you can see how these engagement tabs coming out on the underside of this unit here. I need two hands on it to press it firmly in place. Some of the screws that hold it can be seen here, 1 and 2, so its corner is just held very simply like so. Same for this trim piece, this just comes out just like so, has similar press fit engagement tabs here. This is some steel and some alignment pins there, one on the left side and the other one on the right side there, and stuff lines up with those rectangular holes in this outside of the trim. You have some screws that go in there and some switches that need to be here. The switches of course need to be tucked underneath. These have some screws in it. The screws of course go on the underside, and the screws, I put the screws of course back in place, so there they are. So that's that piece. This one next to the shifter also just kind of pops out of place. You can see the same similar design engagement tabs on it, 3 along that edge and 1, 2, 3 along the other edge, and of course they line up. This one was on an angle, middle, front. Same thing, on an angle, middle, front. You're gonna have to work with the lever here and put the car in neutral or whatever is appropriate for the shifter to take these components apart, and you're gonna have to replace or remove this mat from the bottom of this box and have to undo those 2 shiny screws that you're looking at with the Phillips number 2 screwdriver. Very straightforward. That will remove this whole unit will come out. You play with the lever to whatever angle you like. Same for the shifter, it's gonna separate there along this line here if you undo the screws, and this will just lift out of place as one unit. So this is what you need to remove. Oh, and disconnect the the accessory power socket that's down there. Fairly straightforward, that one, the 12-volt thing. And there is also another 12-volt accessory power outlet right here next to this ashtray thing, that which says not an ashtray, yeah, because it's not metal, so it's gonna melt. So but anyhow, you have to undo or pull off one connector there, which was yeah, this one here. Very straightforward. It only goes on one way. So, and fitting it back together is clip, clip, pop, pop, line it up, put some screws back. So it's fairly straightforward. So that's what's involved. That's a $455 learning lesson for the owner on this car. So that's what I wanted to share with you. This is the location that you need to get to, and this is what's involved. The trim panel and the little heater duct elbow, you need to do it on both sides because you have more screws of course on this side. There, you're gonna have to take out this panel and a little bit of a duct there on that corner. Fairly straightforward and don't need too many tools, maybe a screwdriver and some kind of a blade for a little bit of prying these components.